let's get it out of the way early. I never played Rogue Legacy 1. I believe that when it came out, it was just not really in the genre of games that I was playing back then. But now, Rogue Legacy completely falls into my style of game, so I was really excited when I got the email telling me that I get to review Rogue Legacy 2 on early access. So let's do it. So hey, not knowing a lot about Rogue Legacy, and to be honest, I'm assuming that number 1 has a very similar style, it's a really, really hard game. The first half an hour of playing Rogue Legacy was pretty brutal. I was sending in my archers, my mages, my warriors and barbarians, and they were dying very quickly. So I had to keep seeing, signs pop up that my Sir Tessie the Knight had been slaughtered. And for the great cause of getting about 12 coins and maybe killing 2 people within the scary looking castle place. But fret not, the further I got into the game, things started to click into place. And I must say, now about 2.5 to 3 hours into the game, I feel like I kind of know a bit more about what I'm doing. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of Chads watching this that think, what are you talking about? Rogue Legacy's not hard at all. It's actually a really easy game. Well, good on you, buddy. I found it really difficult, but don't let that difficulty kind of make you sit down and think this is not a good game. There is some really cool, crazy depth there. There is a lot of customization, and it becomes more fun the more you start to pick up little tips and hints that's going to get you further into those runs. So a bit of an overview. There's a castle kind of place and some weird storyline there that I guess people that are really into lore will fall into, but I'm going to talk about the mechanics of the game. You choose a character that you're going to do a run with, going to send them into their doom, and they are unique in their characteristics. They are the ranger, the barbarian, the knight, and the mage, I guess is your 4 classes, but they also come with different rolled abilities and also some character traits that might just change the game up a little bit for you. These aren't always on the helpful side. For example, I got to play the game upside down because one of my characters just happened to have vertigo. That was pretty fun. Some of the knights and people that are going in just happen to see everything in retro sepia mode, so that's a little bit different. But on the positive side, my favorite thing to have in a roguelite / Metroidvania game, there are characters that can use farting for either their humorous ability or even to a tactical advantage. So well done to developers for making sure they integrated some farting style, humor and mechanics into the game. Now, the difficulty of the game sort of resounds in the fact that enemies are so well designed. They are not complex by any means, and you will know very quickly what they're going to do. But the way the levels are designed, integrated with those enemies, you kind of just sit there and, what am I supposed to do with this flying knife thing that's stabbing me while this other mage character's shooting flaming red flames at you? Flaming red flames is a pretty good word choice there, I think. And yet, you start to find out what you're meant to do. You start to realize that you can rush certain enemies. You have to give a bit of range to others. You start to learn what your abilities do a little bit better, and you start to learn that sometimes you just need to get through that level before even worrying about fighting. Now, there's one aspect of Rogue Legacy 2 on early access that makes the game, I guess, manageable in terms of getting further and further into your runs, and that's the fact that after you die, you get to use the coins that you have obtained through defeating enemies and hitting and crushing everything you can see in a level, and you can spend those points on different things. So you can unlock people that will build armor for you, people that will build runes for you, and you can also increase your strength and your vitality and things like that. So all of a sudden, compared to your first half an hour, you've got more health, you've got more damage points, you've also got some armor on, which means that you're taking less damage, and everything just starts to feel a little bit more comfortable, and you feel like, hey, maybe I can do this. Now, through this early access build, which I have been told by the developers will be very, very close to what launches on early access in 2 days' time, make sure you jump on and have a go at Rogue Legacy 2 when it does release, because it is so much fun. So you have the chance to move to another area of the map, and there's a note from the developers which says that there's a bit missing there, but it will be there in time. And the great thing about this new area is that everything just becomes even harder, and you'd sort of got to the point where you felt a little bit assured in your ability to survive for longer amounts of times. And so you move into this new zone and all of a sudden there's new, harder enemies that are going to kill you. Awesome. That's fun. Now, Rogue Legacy 2 is not only a roguelike game, it's also a Metroidvania in the fact that you need to unlock certain abilities within your runs to do certain things, and that's evident with the way that you actually get into the boss fight. Now, once again, I haven't worked out how to beat the boss fight yet, but I'm on my list of things to do, so if you know how to do that and want to drop a hint in the comments below, I would be super appreciative of that. I can see that Rogue Legacy has had such an influence on other roguelikes that have come alongside it, and I'm really glad that I've got a chance to actually play this game because I know how often the Rogue Legacy name is brought up when people talk about roguelike discussions. All I can say is that if you are a fan of this genre, you got to jump in. And you know what, I would say that if you are a fan of this genre, you already decided that you're going to play Rogue Legacy 2. If you are new to the genre of roguelikes and platforming games like this, I think it's a really great game to start with, but beware, there is going to be some moments where you just sit there and think this game is broken, and you think it's broken because it's hard until you get the hang of it. There's nothing broken that I have found so far. Now, there's a couple little things I'll talk about which make, I guess, the run through just that little bit different. You have these fairy quest kind of chest rooms where you'll have to try and make it to the chest according to a certain criteria. You know, you might need to do it in a certain time, or you might need to do it without taking damage, or clear the enemies, or do it without jumping. And they're good fun. I like those. The way that you unlock your different abilities in that first area by going through these trials that are really kind of interesting because they take you out of your map into a different world, and they kind of add a different stylistic idea to the way the game plays. I really like those. So, Rogue Legacy 2 Early Access Review. I'm not saying anything that I think other people won't say, but I think this is a lot of fun. I know that there'll be people out there that know the game inside out from the first one that might pick and pull apart things like that. But I'm really glad that I don't have that to compare to. I have seen pictures of it, and I must say the new visuals are really good compared to the first one, but I know that one was pretty old as well. This is the absolute pinnacle of just one more run games, because when you die you think, come on, I can do this, I can get further. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about Rogue Legacy 2, so I'm hoping to get the chance to play it really soon. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Also, hey, subscribe to the channel. That would be a nice thing to do. Getting to 1,000 subscribers is almost as hard as a run through Rogue Legacy 2.